Okay, I've had one or two quite interesting questions from people recently, so I'm going to spend some time this afternoon making a few short videos to answer them. And this first one is from YouTube user Jaron Brown 1, and he writes, I've noticed that a country third, so for instance playing a C chord with a D and a G, and then the third and the root, can be played on any major chord and sound somewhat decent. It's sort of a fail-safe for improvisation, dead right, and Elton John uses it often, as you said in your Elton John video, as indeed I did. But, he goes on, it doesn't sound right to me on minor chords. It works in some cases, but I'm wondering if there are any similar licks that work on every minor chord. Okay, that's a really interesting question. You're right that the country third is really quite common. If you listen to country music especially, it turns up loads. So if you think about the Lady Antebellum song, Need You Now, okay, the whole thing's built around that sort of resolution, and loads of other sort of country music it crops up in. It also crops up in a lot of pop piano, so you're dead right, also Elton John uses it all the time. Before I talk about some of the ways you can use that lick in a minor context, we just need to dig down into a little bit of theory, okay? If that's our C chord and we use a D in it as a main part of the chord rather than just as a passing note, the chord we're playing is a ninth, yeah? Strictly speaking, it's a major ninth. When people talk about major ninths, they often mean something a bit jazzier like that. Okay, so C major 9, yeah, or C9 like that with the D at the top. But often if you see C9 written in score, it means that the ninth, same as the second, of course, has been interpolated lower down in the chord. Okay, so that is a ninth sound. And as you can hear, it's I should say I've made a video on ninths, so I'll include a link to it. But as you can hear, it's a really warm kind of sound. It's a lovely sound, yeah, and it crops up in loads of music. If you, let's think of someone who used it. So if you think about the song Tonight from West Side Story, which you might know, that's based on a sequence that goes G9, A9, lovely, rich, warm sound that the ninths give, which is funny because you'd think it would be discord. And when you just play the two notes together like that, sort of major second, it does. But when you put it in the context of, you know, a major chord, it sounds great. Okay, so that so-called country third is actually the ninth resolving onto the third. We talk about it as the ninth, just rather than as a suspended second, but you know, it's all the same thing. Okay, so one of the interesting things about those notes is that they all lie on the C major pentatonic scale. And the thing about pentatonic scales, and this is something I've talked about fairly recently, is that the notes on a pentatonic scale are pretty safe against any chord from that key. Okay, so we could play, if we took a chord sequence like this, we could play our little sort of country third lick over the top of it all. Now, the issue of doing that over a minor is quite interesting because you'll notice in that sequence we've actually got a minor chord. The second chord is A minor, which is the sixth chord in the key of C major, okay? So that sounds cool. And that sounds kind of cool as well. So the first thing to remember is if the minor chord you want to play the lick over the top of is part of a major key song, you can just use maybe, you know, the root chord to do that on. So, yeah, D minor doesn't work quite as well against an E minor, which is also crops up in the key of C major. So another thing you can do is, if you have a minor chord, find the major chord that is a minor third up from the root. Sorry, I'm beginning to get into really technical language here, but if you're playing an E minor chord, go up 1, 2, 3, 4 semitones or half steps, a minor third, and find that chord, the major chord, and do your country third on top of that, and it should sound alright, yeah? Okay, so that's E minor, but we're just going, rather than playing that pattern, which sounds a bit peculiar, we're going up a minor third and playing the G instead. Okay, you can do the same thing with D minor. Okay, so that's D minor. If we go up a minor third, 4 semitones or half steps, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if we had a sequence that went just C, A, F, G, as we looked at in the start, then we can stick on that shape all the way through, because as you can see, that C shape is a minor third above the A minor chord. Okay, if we hit a D minor, we can stick with that because it still sounds alright. Okay, but we could go for the F shape. And if we hit an E minor, the safe thing to do, go up the minor third. Okay, so that's one option. If you've got a minor key song, let's say we're in C minor, okay, that sort of third shape can work on the root. Yeah, but it's not perfect. The technique doesn't work as well in minor keys as it does in major keys, which I suppose is kind of 50% of the answer to your question. There's no reason why you can't do the minor third trick again. Okay, so go up, if you're in C minor, go up a minor third, 1, 2, 3, 4 semitones. It gives it quite an unusual, rich sound, but harmonically it works. Actually, you're playing the root chord of the relative major there, but we're getting really technical now. Okay, so there are various things you can do. The short answer is yes, you can use those various techniques. Kind of play around with them. Okay, see what works for you. That sort of third, resolving ninth to third lick is very common, but when you look at sort of country music and rock music and stuff, major songs are much more common than minor songs. Okay, so if you get a minor chord, usually in a major song, usually you can sort of stick it over the top and it won't be too bad. Okay, little exercise you can do for that is just what I've done here. Take your third shape there, and just do it over a chord sequence like this. In fact, pick the chord sequence of any kind of major song in that style, and just take the root chord and do that over the top of all the chords in the bass and see how it sounds. And if it doesn't sound right, then use that little minor third trick. So if you hit an E minor, you'd go up to the 1, 2, 3, 4, go up the minor third. That felt kind of rambly, so I don't know if it made any sense. So come back to me if that doesn't kind of answer the question, but hopefully it will.